Welcome everybody to the Gaming Watch's first roundtable. With me today, or I'm Oz. Sorry about that. With me today is Static Buzz and FFan 16 or Fan.
Yeah.
So, being that you're the guest, we're gonna let you go first. And the first topic is three games that you were looking forward to today, or in the latter part of the year.
Hey, before we get
Uh,
there, can we ask her a question first?
oh,
Sure.
please do. Yeah.
All right, fan. So, if people wanted to find you, where would they find you?
Okay, so I am currently on two platforms for my content. I do primary content and archive uploading to my YouTube channel covering Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Digimon, and mostly JRPGs. I do news updates, tutorial how-tos, and general updates in regards to those type of games. And
Okay.
sometimes I do unboxing depending on if some people send me some stuff in my mail. And besides that, I do all my live streaming over on my Twitch channel. You could just Twitch TV/fan16. You could also find my YouTube handle and Discord from there. And then you can keep in touch with me through Discord and my Twitter to know when I'm live and when I have new content coming out.
And I'll go ahead and
Awesome.
I'll put the links for your channels in the
Oh, thank you.
description so that people can go there to find you a little easier if they want to.
Yes. I'm going to be heavily covering the Digimon content that will be coming out in early next year. So,
Okay. Great.
All right, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No. That was probably something I should have done, but like I said, first round table.
you'll get her.
So, um, so what are three games you're looking forward to that are being released with the latter part of the year?
May I go into a little bit of the
Sure.
January, February region too?
Sure.
Okay. So, of course, I've been a gamer since I was little, and one of my most favorite games of all time is Final Fantasy VIII. And when we had E3 and
Yes.
OMG, we got that beautiful remastered
Yes.
trailer. I literally almost had a heart attack on my live stream. You can find that on my channel, by the way.
I think I saw that.
So that's one of my heaviest expectations is to get my hands on every possible copy of that, digital and physical, if I can, add it to my collection and play it again as that remastered and compare the two, see if the feels change a little bit or where they go with the remaster. Is it just going to be the character models? Is it going to be the pre-rendered backgrounds? I know they're going to be maybe doing something with the soundtrack, but I'll always pick original just because I have played the original so much. I don't think I'd really take to the newer music, but I'd probably give it
Yeah.
a try. And I'd like
Okay.
to see what they're going to do, if they're going to tighten the junction system up any, if they're going to keep it the same. I know they're going to have some of the quick shortcuts like fast battle,
Yeah.
see what else they do with that. Probably won't use it too much because I basically know where everything is in the game, so it wouldn't be too hard for me. But if I want to do
Yes.
some quick grinding before a stream, I could at least get that done like I did with 9. Don't take so much time just to do the Jari stuff. But
Yes.
the next game is
Hold on a second. Let's go back. So I must have missed it, but they announced a remake of Final Fantasy VIII or an HD remaster.
Sorry, it's a remaster. Did I say remake?
No, you said remaster. I messed it up. But they're remastering 8?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. So they
They're
got
doing
7.
high resolution character models.
Yep.
There are rumors of possible voice acting, but that was just coded data mined code from the source code on the website. No confirmed on that yet. Due to that being a rumor, there is a probability of a physical release. Again, speculation at this time. Several retailers have listed the game as physical for pre-order type situations, but no one actually has come out with a physical confirmation to the game. I'm really hoping for physical. It's the 20th anniversary. It would be amazing if they put a little extra love into 8 because it's been the back ugly brother for many
Yeah.
years.
Yes.
It's not been given the kind of publicity that 7, 8, 9, and especially 10, 10 2.
10
Look at
got
how
a
many
lot.
times 10 and 10 2 have been re-released.
Yes.
And that is my second favorite Final Fantasy, and I absolutely love every copy that I own. But poor 8 has been dogged for so long that
redheaded stepchild.
some good luck. Yeah, like I don't want to say bastard child of Square Enix, but
so did they say what systems it's coming out on, or is it
PC, Switch, I believe Xbox and PlayStation 4.
Oh, that'd be nice.
So it should be on the major platforms. So that's good.
Yes, I'm gonna probably get the Switch and PS4 versions. PS4 version first, because of course that's my main streaming console.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just I don't remember seeing that at E3. I mean I watched it religiously, pretty much.
We talked about that. I could have sworn we talked about. Yeah.
Oh man, then it's
slated for 2019, but no release date has been mentioned at this time. I am really they're so lacking for news on it that they had to celebrate the fact that Squall's the best looking guy here, and that's actually going to work this time. I know it's a funny meeting, but does every news article have to cover that? Is that really newsworthy to have? I guess we don't have much, so we'll take whatever we get.
Was it Final Fantasy 7 or 8 that had the female character that they reduced her breast size?
That is 7. That's Tika. Okay. And her breast size aren't reduced. She has a sports halter top on, holding those girls in properly. I'm sorry, her boobs have not been reduced. They're actually in a proper fitting sports bra and shirt this time. They're to help her fight, man. They're to help her fight.
Hey, you would know better than us, so we will take your word for it.
Trust me, when she puts on that dress, she'll put on a proper bra. I swear Square will give us some fan service somewhere with Tifa.
Good.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Are
so what was your static?
Yeah, what was your next game? Sorry, I just I like details.
This one actually quite shocked me. It's Death Stranding. And at first, when I first saw that first trailer with Norman Reedus naked on the sand beach and the bridge baby, which we didn't know the name of it at that time, outside of its case, and he's holding it, and then it disappears, and then like the little oil hands crawling all over his body, I was like, what the hell did I just watch? And I don't even know if it really had a name at that time, or if it was just the Kojima project or whatever. But as more and more trailers got released, I found myself one day at work just binge watching everything I could find on this game, just to kind of piece his puzzles, because he puts stuff everywhere. It could be like one part of the trailer is 6 months down the road, and the next trailer is before everything happens. Like he never does a timeline. And I'm not a Kojima fan, but my boyfriend is, so he's got it on pre-order physical. So instead of me having to buy it, he's like, just play it, stream it. So I'm like, yes, I get it day one. But I'm like obsessed about it now, and I just want to know what the hell is going on, really.
Well, there's a part about Death Stranding that I think a lot of people are forgetting. Kojima, several months back, I want to say like 4 or 5 months back, said the game had already started.
Yes. He's been playing us since the first...
No, I mean like it's already started for us. Like it's already out there somewhere on the web or something, but nobody's been able to find it. Like it's already out there. Part of the game is already out there, and we're just not seeing it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
the tinfoil hat out for that one.
He wants our brains working, man. He wants the conspiracy theories to start. It's what he likes.
It is. He's definitely good at that. Did you see the one about the guy who lives for 21 minutes?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I just can't recall.
So
Go ahead. Saw that video. Yeah.
So Norman Reedus is in a room with this guy who hops off a hospital bed type deal with something on his chest, and he starts talking to him. But I guess that guy lives for 21 minutes and then has his heart stop.
Oh, wow.
And then however long later comes back to life for like another 21 minutes. And supposedly while
because you don't really die in the game, right?
I don't know.
Or
does anybody know?
Norman Reedus who gets to come back.
Yeah, does anybody know? I don't know. But while the guy is dead, he's searching for something, and we don't know what it is.
Going to well, we're gonna call it purgatory because I don't know if there's any other word for it. So when you die in the game, you don't really die. The bridge things, not the sorry, not bridge things, beached things pull you down, and you kind of fall into a water world. At which point you can resurface and work your way back up to the real world, and that's kind of like where all the memories are colliding, like World War II, and that's where all the game gunplay is going to happen. Where when you get
Okay.
back up to the real world, it's more of the survival, taking the goods to the next encampment. You got to look out for the what's that guy's name with the mask? Higgs. What's Higgs' name? The
Trying to
actor who
think
does
here.
it, Trey Bacon. Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
look out for him or Troy Bacon. You got to look out for him because he's working with somehow he's in between. He's in limbo, so he can manage both realms. And then you've got
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
and so he can call out the beach things, and there's something with gold controls things. So they thought people were being trolled with the pre-order bonuses of it all just being gold equipment, but gold is a very important element in this game. If
Okay.
you watch any of the bigger boss battles, there's gold somewhere on them, and Higgs always has something gold to control them, like his mask is gold.
Oh.
So and then you've got oh, the guy who smokes. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
I
so
saw.
bad with names. He's silent but deadly because he sings to the baby at first, and he's like, "Wait to tell your story" or something. So I'd like to see what his storyline's going to be because he might start off good and then end up being like bigger than Higgs.
Okay.
You've definitely taken
It's
a deeper
interesting.
dive than I have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I've
Yeah.
watched a lot of videos and I've watched a lot of like theories, people trying to like, piece
Mm-hmm.
together the story. Some of the stuff some of these people come up with, you're like, yeah. And the oil, the hands, it's not blood, it's actual oil. And Kojima, they're thinking, is trying to relate how we're bleeding the earth, and that is the oil that we're taking from it. So it's kind
Oh.
of his environmental stand about how we're overusing our resources and we better watch out because we might drain it to the point where we cause an apocalypse. And this is kind of his game to show his stance on environmental issues. So everything is
Interesting.
oil. There's oil in the beach things. Sorry, in the beach things. The bridge baby is connected with a tube, and there's a lot of pipe references,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of spider references in it, where we're all connected by a web. If you notice, the bridges logo has Washington D.C. and the web goes out from there. A lot of
Hmm.
I want to remember his name, but a lot of the other villain or anti-protagonist guys, he's standing in a barbed wire web with the baby floating and the eyes twitching. It's just like some creepy stuff going on.
It seems
Wow.
like the whole game, though.
Yeah, that whole game's gonna be weird.
Yeah, I just want to play to know what the frack is going on.
Yeah,
Yeah, we.
I think we're all like that. I mean, I want to get a hold of it. It's just not on my list.
Yeah,
But
It's
yeah. So
not on my list either, but it's close fourth.
yeah.
no, that's cool.
But
So you got another one, or
Yeah, another one I'm quite anticipating for is called Digimon Survive.
okay,
It's going to be a new sister genre to the others. So I'll explain what I mean by that. There's Digimon World, Digimon Story, right?
mm-hmm.
They're two parallel linear paths, but they don't really tie into each other for story content. They're really just Digimon. Yes, they're all the same, but they're not really the same genre type
Okay,
storyline. Survive is going to be a third version of where they want to take the Digimon series. It's going to be heavily based upon the original Digimon Adventures anime series, if you guys have ever
okay,
seen that. So they take a lot of the aesthetics, a lot of the your partner and you must bond, how you are feeling will impact your partner, how you interact with the world around you will impact how your partner digivolves on the field and stuff like that. It's going to be both a text-based adventure meets a strategy-based RPG.
okay,
So it's kind of like Tactics or Fire Emblem, where you're going to have a grid and a map and you'll move your Digimon about to do battle. But then the world interactions will be you moving around, meeting characters, doing text dialogue boxes. Depending on your answers to that text dialogue will depend on how your partner will behave in battle or outside of battle. So there's a lot of like paths you can take. So everybody's gameplays could be slightly different from each other's. And it's going to heavily base around that partnership with you. And then you're going to have people, other Digimon or Digidestin's tamers, joining you along in the venture. And it's a post-apocalyptic world that you get put into. But of course, you start off in high school or elementary school or whatever, going on a trip. And then you get pulled into this digital world, which is not the same as the digital world in the video game or the other games. It's kind of like a parallel version or a different digital world with Digimon in it.
Okay.
So there might be similar aesthetics that we'll run into, but you won't find Ginji's house or the Frostlands or Toyland or anything. Like maybe, I don't know, but there won't be definite similarities to the different areas of the world that we've seen in previous games.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I've kind of been watching that one too. I played the last two Digimon, Cyber Sleuth and was that the first one? And then the
Hacker's Memory is the second one, which Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory run in parallel timelines, where you're playing as the main protagonist in Cyber Sleuth, while Hacker's Memory, you're a hacker who gets conned with doing something you didn't do, so you got to become a hacker to free up your name. So it's really neat how they did it. Is like some of the stuff that you when you're doing it in the main game, like the first game, your other character's off somewhere else fighting maybe the same boss you just fought, but she's now the main boss where she was a sub boss for you. You're dealing with eaters a lot more. You have digital battles against other hackers because you're a hacker where your other one's not a hacker. He's a sleuth. He's an agent that works for Kyoko. So you're a detective in one and you're a hacker in the other. Where Arata's a hacker. So you kind of learn from the hacker's point of view about what they're going through versus going from the outside looking in, you're the inside looking out.
Yeah, I played both those games. Definitely not to the extent you have because I've seen your videos. I played a good part of the Cyber Sleuth, and then Hackers I probably played a couple hours. But the Survive one definitely looks more interesting to me when it comes out. I'm probably going to check that out. Was that this year or was that next year?
It's 2020. We don't have a solid date, like they didn't give us a month or anything, but my feeling somewhere around March, maybe April. It's probably going to be early 2000s because what's happening in early 2000 is the Digimon movies coming out with Tai and Agumon, and this is what is it called? Digimon. I can't remember the name. Anyways, it's about Tai growing up and he realizes that he's not going to be able to stay with Agumon forever. It's kind of their last hurrah. And I heard a lot of rumors that each Digidestins of the original series is going to get their own movie. So we're going to start off with Tai, then maybe we'll go to Matt, maybe Sora, and so on down like Joe and them, and see they're aging, they're growing up. They're all in their 20s now, their early 20s. And then TK and Kyrie are, of course, just getting out of high school. So it should be interesting to see what they do with it.
So Toy Story in the Digimon world?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of what it sounds like. You got a friend in me.
With an app game that's going to kind of tie into some of the new ways of the Digimon being able to digivolve that's going to happen in the movie, but they're kind of going to introduce it in this new app game that's coming out soon.
Okay. So does that mean you're an anime fan as well as a gamer?
Nice. Yeah, I do like my anime.
All right, that'll change one of my questions if we get to that.
All right.
So, Oz, did you want to go next, or?
I was going to let you go next.
Oh, okay. Well, I figured yours would be pretty well known. Mine might not be.
Oh, mine are pretty straightforward, so I want to see what you got.
All right. So the first game I'm looking forward to actually comes out the 30th of this month, and I've mentioned it before in some of our Game Watch Weekly, but Astral Chain. It's done by the same guy who did Nier Automata. He's playing a big part in it, and I like the The art style, it's kind of got that anime look to it, and the futuristic city with all the neon stuff going on, and then just the way that so they in Near Automata, you had the robot behind you, and you could kind of the what?
The pod.
The pod, you got it. You had the pod. That's what they were called. I'm sorry, I go generic when I can't remember exact names. So I had the pod, and you could upgrade it and change it and do things like that with it, but you could also command it. And in this one, you're actually kind of tethered to your, what they call them? I can't think of the name. There's a name for them, but you're chained to it, and you give it commands, and it stays with you for a certain amount of time, and then it goes away, and you have to wait for like the cooldown to come back. But
okay.
So it's kind of like a summon, like you could summon it out, and then it kind of has a time limit, and then it has to have a reaction to resummon it.
Yeah, and you also get like moves with it. So there's like different ones as well. So like you can have one that's like a quick one that's kind of like a brute one, those type of things. The specifics I don't know because I haven't played it yet, but there's also a chain between you and them as well. So it can only go so far away. But then when you do certain moves, that chain can be used to either tie something down or other cool effects like that.
Mm-hmm.
So really looking forward to that one.
Okay.
The next one, I think Oz might be looking forward to this one. I hope I'm not stealing this one, but Borderlands 3.
Okay.
Not
on my list, but I left that for you.
Isn't Borderlands 3 out already?
No,
yet.
September
Not yet?
13th.
Okay.
Yes, September
Oh, right.
13th.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's true.
So
there's a lot of hype around it, so I thought it might have been sooner than that.
Not just yet. We're looking forward to it, though.
They are bleeding us with the hype videos, though. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna feed you one character, and then make you wait a couple weeks for another event like Gamescom to give you another character, and then So they finally had like a video for all the different characters now with Flax coming out last week, but they've been slowly dripping that.
Yeah.
I haven't played Borderlands since the first one. I have 1 and 2. I just haven't really gone into 2 too much.
Oh, 2 is so much better than 1.
Mm-hmm.
2 is so much better. But 3 looks really good. 3 looks very, very good with the way they're doing the trees and everything. The just the story and everything, bringing back all the old characters and going to different planets other than Pandora. Mm-hmm. So should be very, very, very cool. And the last one, I'll be surprised if either of you guys have heard of this one, but it's something I've been following for a while. It's called Greedfall.
Nope. Not familiar at the moment.
So basically, it's an RPG set in a world that looks like, I want to say, colonial.
Okay.
But there's monsters and all kinds of creatures in it. But there's also like indigenous people that live in the lands, and you can either befriend them or betray them. At least that's the way it sounds. So you can like pick sides, and if you befriend them and choose them, you betray your people, type of deal, almost like Pocahontas.
Okay.
So, but it just seemed really interesting, and it trying to think of the game these people made before.
Do you know what the developer's name is?
No, that's what I kind of wanted to
look it up. You got a computer in front of you.
Use it.
But everything
we have so much information at our fingertips.
I can't use it because then I'll have to minimize you guys. But
you got a phone.
The way that they do the skill trees and everything looks really, really good. The animation, everything looks really good.
Is this on console?
I think it's going to be on everything except for Switch. All right, let's see. Greedfall is an upcoming action role-playing video game developed by Spiders and published by Focus Home Entertainment. Okay. So Spiders, that's the one we need to look up. They are a French developer.
Okay.
They made Silverfall, but that's not the game that... I think they made Technomancer.
Really?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Heard that one.
But, it just looks like a cool setting, and if the gameplay is half as good as it looks in the videos, and the story is got any depth to it, I think it's going to be kind of a surprise game.
Yeah, it might be a sleeper hit.
Yeah, I think Astral Chain is going to be another one that's going to take everybody by storm when that comes out.
No, that sounds interesting. I'll have to look that up because I really love Nier Automata.
It looks good, but it's only on the Switch, right?
Yep, but
yeah,
that's
so
right. I got that separate.
I'm kind of SOL because I'm a PC guy, so
slacker.
Yeah, I won't list how many PlayStation type consoles I have. We'll be here all day.
So those are my three. So
my turn. So okay. I'm sure you know this one, Static. Cyberpunk 2077. I'm a huge fan of the stuff that CD Projekt Red has put out, The Witcher and stuff like that. So,
and Kiana.
like the old, I remember the old Cyberpunk tabletop stuff. So that was, and if they can kind of capture that and capture right, I think it's going to be a huge hit, just like The Witcher was.
Yeah, The Witcher was good.
Oh, love The Witcher. Only problem is I kind of screwed myself into the corner by romancing both the women at the same time.
You would.
You bad man.
I didn't know that they were going to talk to each other.
We won't talk about my Persona 5 run through where I dated everybody.
You're a
Did you
Witcher,
have the
man.
harem?
Yeah.
I had the harem -1 that I thought I had, but I didn't get fully through the doctor, so the doctor didn't show up. I was like, oh my god, so I got to do it again.
Yeah, because there's a trophy for that, right?
I believe so, and I want to platinum that game, so.
All right, so the next one is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I'm sure you knew about that one. I was a fan of Wildlands, fan of most Tom Clancy games, so it just felt natural. And that one just seems like it's a lot, I don't know, the gameplay seems to be a little more advanced than what it was in Wildlands, so I think there'll be a lot better gunplay in that one. I mean, I was in on the Tech Alpha, the first alpha that they've done, and it was really good, but there was a lot of issues that I ran into.
Well, that's what they want to find, right? With those alpha tests.
Oh yeah. There'd be things like when you sit down, your guns are still like up in the air that were on your back, and I'm like, okay.
Isn't there an NDA on that? Just saying.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I put in all that. But so the last one is Outer Worlds. So it's kind of I want to say Fallout, but futuristic, in space. So a lot of walking around, flying around, interacting with NPCs. So it was one that I just came across recently. I saw the video on YouTube or on Facebook, and then I kind of started diving down into it. And I don't know if it's gotten much traction, but I definitely think it'll be a good one. So those are my.
Is the Outer Worlds done by the Fallout New Vegas people? Is that what I remember reading? Okay.
So it is Obsidian, I think, who is doing that.
Yeah, that would be the Fallout New Vegas people.
That's New Vegas, is Obsidian.
I never played New Vegas. Don't judge.
What? Jesus, dude. New Vegas is...
Now you're in trouble.
Yeah. I know.
That's the one I played the most of, was New Vegas. I loved New Vegas.
Fallout 2, man. That was the one.
New Vegas, a lot. And then, of course, the most recent one, but 76, I can't touch that one.
Well, they've got to do something now they've got to make the fan base a little happier after that 76 game, because I watched some news about, like, just some videos of people talking about it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, look at the glitching and the character just jittering. I'm like, what?
But that's Bethesda. I mean, how could you not know that was going to happen? It's a Bethesda game. It's that way.
I can look past. The thing is they got so lazy they didn't put in like NPCs. So it's
send a patch out. Like, you've got all these people
they are putting in NPCs later, but the story behind it was
gotta release that game.
You're in the the Appalachian area of wherever, and robots took over everything, so there was no need for humans to kind of stick around. They were doing everything else, but I'm like, okay, but who fixes the machines and all of that stuff? So
yeah.
and everything you do once you leave the vault was like, oh, pick up a you pick up a tape and shove it into your arm thing, and you're like, oh, I was here. So you're following your vault leader around. You're always chasing them, but you never catch up with them.
That's funny.
Yeah, the only people you run into are other players. So it's like, okay. And like my first encounter with a player was he was trying to engage me in combat, and I'm like, well, this kind of sucks. So I'm like, I don't. So it's just I pick it up to play it, and then I kind of set it down because I'm like, I don't know why I even wasted the money on it. So I don't know. Love Fallout, but that last one was bad.
Yeah.
So, did anybody have any other honorable mentions that they wanted to bring up?
Of course. I'm surprised nobody mentioned. Well, I guess because it's later on in the first quarter, but Final Fantasy VII Remake, first part. See where that goes. Hopefully we'll hear about a second one, because they're supposed to be full games, right? And all Midgard. 2 discs, Midgard. All right, Square, let's do this.
Well, they changed the combat up and everything, so I wonder how much...
I actually like it. And the reason why is 15 was a demo for the new way of Square Enix wanting to do the battle system. 7 has perfected it.
Okay.
They've had the time. They did the trial with 15. They got what they liked out of it. If you ever played the original demos for 15, the combat system was quite different.
Oh, I hated the demos.
Band, right?
Yes, the brothers.
The boy band, okay.
The boy band.
Yeah, that's one my wife likes.
The demos for me were really, really, really rough, and I had a hard time doing anything in there that made me feel like I was in control. Yeah.
Well, Tabata did the best he could from what he got and the time frame that Square Enix gave him to get this out. So for what he was given and for the time that he had, he did a really great job of getting it out to us. The thing is, it really needed a longer development time, but due to its history of... Seriously, 15 wasn't a 10-year game. 15 was a 4-year game. Final Fantasy Versus 13... to when it was turned into Final Fantasy 15 to the end, it was a 10-year period. So in the end, it kind of just had to get out, but they wanted to introduce the Kingdom Hearts live action style with the weight ATB system combat. I didn't use the weight ATB combat system in 15, but the hand-on combat was really nice. I like the warp striking. Eventually, we got access to the bros, not as much as we wanted to. But with Final Fantasy VII, not only will we get a better weight, ATB and weight mode, because it's kind of got that Matrix look to it, which is really cool. Time is still flowing, but at such a slow rate that you have a time to analyze, critique, and figure out what move you want to do next. And you can pan the camera around to see what's the best move. You couldn't do that in 15. It's like you could move your trigger, but you couldn't pan the camera and view the different angles. So they definitely fixed a lot of flaws there. And you could on the fly switch between characters. So if you're fighting with Cloud and it's close combat, you want to use Cloud. But say that enemy jumps to the far wall, you can instantly switch to Barret and start using Gatling gun on them without a pause. So the combat's going to be a lot smoother. They've learned a lot from 15.
Yeah, from the people I've heard talk about their actually play tests with it, they said that they were really, really impressed with the combat. So I'm hoping that it's better because 15 drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Wanted to like it.
It is for what it is.
Yeah.
I still thought 15 turned out to be good in the end.
Well, when I first got it, I had an Xbox One, right?
Oh.
And I got it on the Xbox One, which is probably my first mistake. I should have got it on my PlayStation Pro. But I got it on the Xbox because I want those games to come to Xbox.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got an Xbox One X that I actually appreciated the game in its beauty because it was so blurry on the Xbox One. And
my boyfriend brought his Xbox One X, and I played it on my PS4 Pro like a couple times. And then when I went to his Xbox One X, I'm like, I gotta admit, this thing looks pretty sexy on this machine. I can't lie. I'm a PlayStation guru, but this Xbox makes
I will tell you that the detail on the Xbox One X is enough that I can tell you Cindy has tan lines. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it was for science. It was for science.
Actually, it was purely the camera was panning because I wasn't paying attention, and when I came back, it was like right there, and I was like, "Oh, she's got tan lines." Happenstance.
Although in VR, you get pretty close up to everybody. I played Monster of the Deep. Cindy was literally right in my face, and I'm like, "What are you doing, Cindy? Like, hello, you're in my personal space."
I got a bubble. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're gonna go to the questions that we have.
Sure. We can jump into some of the questions. So what do you got?
You want me to go?
Sure. You brought it up.
All right. So I will bring this up because Fan is here.
Okay.
On the next Final Fantasy single player game that is obviously not announced yet. I'm not talking about a remake or a remaster.
Yeah, like 16, let's say.
Yeah, 16. What are you hoping for?
Well, Final Fantasy's always been known for trying to push the barriers, so I don't see them changing anything there. We're going to probably be looking at more realistic graphics. It'd be really nice to see where they're going. They had that tech demo back in the day, Angela, or God, what's her name? Anyways, and they showed real tears, like literally facial movements. So it'd be really cool to see more realistic graphics, but I want a complete, fleshed out story. Square Enix, sit down, write a story from beginning to end, and play it out. Don't rush it. You guys are making enough remasters and remakes. We'll be satisfied for a while. I want a Final Fantasy X story. I want the love they're giving to 14 right now. 14's amazing. Shadowbringers is blowing my mind out. I have not really paid. People are gonna hate me. I haven't really paid attention to the story since A Realm Reborn. I know what's going on, but I play it. I love it, but it wasn't grabbing me as much. But the current expansion, hands down, the best so far.
Oh, it's killing it for sure. Yeah.
It's amazing, and I want that kind of love for 16. Give me a character that is going through some shiznit and wants to do something better with it. Give me an older male friend who's there to support. Like, get that crew in there that's actually got a better bond, and you get a backstory on each character. Don't make me guess about what's going on. Have a side quest where I go off as said character number X, or my main character has to go and figure out where they went or why they're doing stuff. Just more fleshed out backstory is kind of. I want them to go back to that. I don't really want them to go back to the old golden days of Final Fantasy 9 and 7 and 8. We had
Tactics.
that. We're getting enough remasters on that stuff. That whatever. Push the boundaries, Square, but don't forget about why we play these games. We play these games for the story. We play these games because we want to relate to the characters, and we actually want to be their friends. We want to be their buddy. We want to be that person that's going on the journey with them and experiencing what they're experiencing. We want them to go through hardships because we want to see how they deal with it. I want to make choices, but not have several different endings. But give me a final boss fight that's more than one form. Give me my 2 to 3 form boss fight, please. Make it hard. Make me right up till I'm 99 and swear at the boss every step of the way, but feel complete achievement when I'm done. I want that back. But besides that, push the boundaries, but don't forget about what makes a Final Fantasy enjoyable. And that's the story, music, and gameplay.
So you don't want to see a continuation of the boy band or any other Final Fantasy? You want a whole new...
I think that was needed at the time to get something out, but don't use that as a precedent going forward.
Yeah, I could be happy if they never revisit that again. Yeah,
they could go girl band, right?
I don't want it as a games as a service. I don't want to have my game released in a very vanilla version and then have a full game 2 years down the road. Don't do that again. Do what Kingdom Hearts is doing. If you want to give me a 3-pack, Final Fantasy 13, at least Final Fantasy 13 1 is a complete standalone. You don't even have to play the other two to feel satisfied about 13. You could end it and its ending happens. 13 2, total different story, but it's a different timeline. If, say, Lightning didn't stay with them, suddenly she got pulled in by Cosmos. Like, fine, do that, but give me a complete package day one. Patches happen, whatever, but don't DLC to see what happened to this character later on down the story. Like, I don't want to pay for a season pass.
You don't like day one patches, right?
So for graphical fixes and minor glitches, they found something after it went gold and they couldn't get it into the beta test region to put it to production. I work in that type of environment. I work on website development. I know how it goes. Things got to go live, they got to go live. But you don't put in half broken stuff and fix the shit later. You put in a complete package that needs tweaking later.
Yes. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, those day one patches are horrible. Where it's like 16 gigs.
Yeah.
Like, man.
So you didn't like all the...
just to fix the little jittering, that's fine.
You didn't like all the extra boy band packages that came out with for each individual one?
Well, I bought the season pass, so I kind of had it down. But you play the vanilla version, and by itself, it was okay. Like, you felt like you got a decent enough story, and you got a decent amount of hours in it. So for today's $60 games, that's basically did the cake. But it's not a Final Fantasy not to get that side quest, those full stories, that depth of knowledge and impact that each character should have. It was very raw, and it didn't go below the top layer, and that felt like a game that could have came up by a second or third party developer, not Square Enix. I'm sorry, Square, you just kind of... I'm not blaming Nomura again. The poor boy was given something with an impossible deadline, and he did his best, but you pushed the man too far. Obviously, he left, so...
That does happen.
Take your time with the next one. Bring back that... Something I want to sit down and I want to get lost in for a couple hours, and then come out and be like, I gotta go back. I gotta hang out with those guys in that world and see what's gonna happen next. And I revisit every Final Fantasy, and every time I play it, it's like coming home to an old friend and just hanging out with them. Keep that going. That's what we play these games for, or that's what I play these games for. So
yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, so does somebody else have a question for everybody? That was more directed towards fans. So
I mean, the stuff I've been thinking about is, so, when it comes to gameplay nowadays, are you guys more towards the linear, where it's just you play through, or do you like your choices to have an effect on the end? So like Mass Effect, every choice had some sort of meaning, and then in the end, you're watching Mort die, or you're killing him, and not carrying the Genophage or the Genophage or whatever. So, do we prefer the linear, or do we want our choices to matter? I mean, for me, it's like I want every choice to matter, but I've seen some people where they just want that straight line playthrough.
See, I'm in the middle. I want open linear. I want to feel like I'm playing an open world, but I still want to be guided in a way to bring me to the end, where I can make a choice and it may impact how that other teammate or non-NPC will react to me. But in the end, the ending's kind of preset, but it could impact maybe the stats of the boss, or the stats of the final dungeon, or what you may encounter in that final dungeon versus what might not be there. But I want to be able to roam, but I don't want to go too far from home, kind of thing.
Okay. I get it.
For me, I don't really care either way. I think there's a place for both the open and the linear. For me, it's more about what's going to get me immersed in the story and want me to come back to that world. Like God of War when it came out. Pretty linear, but open enough where you could go to places that you don't have to go to and do things that aren't part of the main story. They'll affect the main story because maybe you can get a armor piece or something like that to get you over the hump, but not so much that you have to do it. So yeah, it's more about what's going to get me immersed in the story and want me to keep coming back to that game. And if my choices make I think where it comes into trouble is if you have too many options for your choices and the tree gets too branched out, and then by the end of it, it's such a muddled mess that the story doesn't make any sense because of your choices. It's kind of like Elder Scrolls. You kill that guy that you needed a quest for, but you didn't know because you didn't have the quest, so you killed him, and you're just like, and now you come back like, where's the guy I need the quest for? Well, you screwed yourself 20 hours ago.
You got to replay the game.
Exactly. You go back to a save, hopefully. But
like what I was talking about when I first started in, you go into, what is it, Whiterun, the first city?
Yeah, Whiterun.
My first playthrough, I had like the vampire was unlocked, and they had killed the guards and moved on to that blacksmith, where it was the female blacksmith and the male, but they killed the female one, but I needed her, and I had to hack the game files to bring her back to life so I could finish that quest line, and she was she was broken, but I could finish the quest, but I had to hack it.
She was zombified.
That's funny.
She was zombied, yeah. So, so are you guys a fan of this whole craze of like battle royale or survival stuff? I mean,
no, I've never been in like my poor little 6-year-old. She's like, Mom, I like Fortnite. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. I'm like, you might watch the 12 or 13-year-old kid who's at your daycare play it, but honey, you're not the Fortnite. I'm sorry to all you Fortnite people out there. I get how much of a great game it is, but it's not my type of game. Like, I'm more of an RPGer. I like some first-person shooters, BioShock, Resistance, Fallout, man. And not so much the World War II live, like real war type games like you are, but give me aliens and some sort of outer world plot. Like, I like Destiny. I play Destiny, but Fortnite seems to be like a mobile game for your console that is loot boxy and just how much can I troll the other person before they rage quit or get mad at me? Like, there might be a better community, but that's kind of just, again, a stereotype maybe that gets perceived more from non-Fortnite players. So I do apologize again to any Fortnite players who are now raging in the chat how wrong I am. But it's just a perception, and it's just not my type of gameplay. I'll just stick with my RPGs and open world action-based games.
I would agree. I'm not a battle royale. I do, however, like some of the survival stuff. I did like Division 1's survival mode where they drop you off in the dead of winter and you have to,
But that's a mode. It's not a complete game, right? Like,
yeah. But I mean, yeah, that was just a mode to take on. But I mean, if it's pure survival, not so much. Like, what was that one where it takes place in Russia? That one was like pure survival. They kind of drop you off. No.
The one with all the snow?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the name of it. But it's survival. You're basically looking for stuff constantly. I think it has zombies in it too. I can't. Like I said, I tried playing that and it just wasn't my thing.
I just like a game to be somewhere where I'm gonna go in and either get frustrated at the game or play at my own pace. Or play with somebody and there's a story to it. Those battle royales, it's just people just shoot, like either working as a team to pick other people off. Like I know there's some world building in Fortnite, like you could build a whole bunch of different things. So you got a bit of Minecrafting and Dragon Quest Builder kind of type things in it. But I want to do that stuff as a storyline, not as okay, I'm going to build a bunker. Let's see how we could blow it up later, kind of thing. Or who's going to come in when I'm off game and come raid my stuff, right? I don't want to be afraid my stuff ain't gonna be there when I come back on. So
Fan, I'm gonna blow your mind real quick here. So Fortnite Battle Royale is actually a mode for Fortnite Save the World, and Fortnite Save the World is what you're talking about. You build a fort and the zombies attack it and all that. It didn't go so well for them.
Okay.
And since what's that other Battle Royale game that was huge that blew up?
Overwatch?
Apex Legends?
Oh, Apex.
No, before all the other ones. The realistic one was mainly PC to start. Microsoft bought it to
Microsoft.
exclusive.
So it's not like Overwatch or anything.
No.
Like that.
I'm drawing a blank. But anyways, so it wasn't going well, but the other game, the other Battle Royale was blowing up, so they made the Battle Royale in their game. But the thing is the other game was using the Unreal Engine as well, so there was a whole fight between the two. But anyways, so
right now it's Apex and Fortnite that are battling for...
Yeah, but Apex has issues, I heard. Like, a lot of technical bug issues.
I know they brought mechs in, which was...
That was Fortnite,
something.
But yeah.
No, I thought that was Apex.
No, that's Fortnite, yeah.
Fortnite,
I don't pay attention to either one of them, which we probably should, but...
So, the game you were talking about...
It's a fad, though. Like, I really can't get into games that are hyped this heavy. It's just... I don't know, something draws me away from them when they're this hyped.
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially when it's like I'm an older generation from the generation that are really hyped about it. So again, that's what draws me away from it, because I don't want to play with... I don't want to call them... I just call them younger gamers. They play differently than I do, which is fine. It's cool. Like, but if I want to do that, I'll go to Final Fantasy 14 and play with different age gamers, but the community's a bit different. It's a bit more, unless you're on the Bahamut server, which those people are crazy. But
I don't know. I've actually been surprised how good the community is coming from World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah,
where they were.
World of Warcraft is a good one though. Like
it's a good game, but their community kind of sucks. They're elitists, you know.
Well, a lot of
so if you don't know, it's like GG noob. learn how to DPS. I'm running around in Final Fantasy 14, and someone's like, "Hey, I hope you're enjoying your day." I'm like, "I am. Thank you." You know, and I'm just kind of like running along.
Yeah. Well, a lot of World of Warcraft people came over to Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Because of what was going on there with the expansions and stuff, but the Final Fantasy 14 group are a little bit more lax, and they're really more to help you learn. But there's certain servers that are like the hardcore servers that you don't want to be going into, and then you got the more relaxed tutorial and helping servers, and then the ones that are just there to play the game. You definitely notice when you get paired in a dungeon with some of the hardcore servers, because they're like, "Didn't you watch the video?" I'm like, I don't have time for a freaking video. I have a life. Like, I got a job. I've got a kid. I just want to come in here and get this dungeon done. I will learn the mechanics as we go. Don't tell me to watch a damn video.
Yes. Well, we had that kind of. We didn't really have that. We had just somebody who wasn't paying attention when we went into that one dungeon when Ifrit got us.
Well, you're in a dungeon. You don't. You either say, "I've got to step away from my keyboard and my kid's screaming," or "I've got to go pee," or whatever.
Oh,
don't
this guy just
there
didn't
and
switch.
troll.
Oh yeah, he just didn't switch.
Well,
he wanted to keep DPSing Ifrit when those spikes came up. Remember?
Oh yeah, but
the spirals.
Yeah.
But once we told him,
he does his DPS check.
Yeah, once we told him, hey, you need to DPS those, he switched over. So, I mean...
That was the only issue we've ever really had, other than, I guess...
An overzealous tank?
Once didn't want to heal, you know?
Or an overzealous tank.
Dying.
Yeah.
It's like, heal more, pew pew less.
Yeah.
Okay, so to answer your question, Battle Royale... Well, let me answer the game you were talking about before in Russia, DayZ.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But to answer your question, my issue isn't so much Battle Royale games. It's more of the games that are repetitive. Like, they have the 10 to 20 minute game cycle, and then you start over fresh, and you didn't get any benefit from playing that 10 to 15, 20 minutes. And you're going right back to, I'm a newbie, you know. I like games with progression, so I like to gain experience. I like to gain equipment. I like those type of things. That's what's going to keep me coming back. And those other games, you just start over.
Works for us, you know, the Division 2. It's getting that equipment and constantly feeling better, doing more damage.
It's not just an instant gratification game. It's a time spending, longer effect to your gratification, rather than, oh look, I just blew that guy up. Yeah, I got all his armor. Let's go.
I don't see how that is all. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to bash anyone that likes it. It's not at all appealing to me. It seems like
it's perspective, right? It's our perspective. We don't like it. It's their perspective. They do like it. It's fine. Everybody doesn't have to like the same damn game. They typically wouldn't have different genres of games.
Exactly. True. My only issue with Fortnite and Apex Legends and whatever the heck the game was before that is that when you go on the Twitch, when you go on to YouTube, when you go on to Mixer, they're on top of the page and they just flood the page. And you're like, can I exclude these games? Can I like hit a button to say I don't want to see these so I can get to the game content that I want? And that's the only issue I have is it's so much out there and everybody thinks that they're going to be the next Ninja or they're going to be the next Dr. Disrespect and they're going to go in and play these games and it's just like, oh, come on, it's saturated. Just go away.
It is. That's just it. It's too much everywhere. You go into stores and there's Fortnite figurines and backpacks and toys everywhere. And I got a 6-year-old and she's like, Fortnite. I'm like, no. And I'm getting her into RPGs, like really simple ones at first, because they're for cognition, they're for hand-eye coordination, they're for logic. All that stuff works in what I believe
math
with RPGs. Math, both strategic thinking. If I do this, what result will I get here? How do I get up on that cliff? Okay, what mechanics do I need to do with my RPG character to get to that from A to B? There is some of that stuff in the other ones, but it's just, again, it's instant gratification. I got to go blow that guy up. I got to go raid this place. I got to build this quick little car thingy so I could go off the ramp. That's great. That's quick logic thinking, but there's not long strategic goal planning in those type of games. And I got her on like Chocobo Mystery Dungeon. I've got her on Kingdom Hearts 1 and she's got Kingdom Hearts 2. She's Spiral. She's beating me in Spiral, for crying out loud. And it's like those are the type of games that I feel are better for her development than shooter. Like I'll get her into shooters later. Just they're not bad. They're not. It's just put them into the context to the kid or to the young adult as to what they are, and they're fine, right? So
Spyro definitely has some puzzles in there you got to figure out how to get.
Spyro is hardcore. It's just like, how come Spyro can't swim in the first one? I'm like, he doesn't know how to swim yet.
He's too young. He hasn't been taught.
In the first one.
So, Fan, did you have a question for everybody else?
What were your guys' first introduction to video games?
Oh, geez.
So
you're gonna date me.
I first started on like the Commodore 64 with those old games.
I got a mini right there.
So it was, those still stick with me, like, LOE.
Which games?
Oh God, there was a submarine one, and then there was one F-15 Strike Eagle or something like that was another one. Ghostbusters was one that we had.
They're remastering that.
Yep.
Yes.
So, and then
there's so much love and hate for that game.
It was impossible, like absolutely impossible.
And you had to like get the ghost, and then you had to get him on top of the car so you could like get the beam up, and when it kept getting harder with the key and the lock moving and all the ghosts coming, you're like, screw this, Gozer's coming, let's just do it.
Yep. So and then from there, it was kind of a bit of a dry spell until the first Nintendo came out. So, and then I did have a short stint on like the Jaguar for a little while. That counseled that monstrous joypad, but then it was the Genesis and onward. I really didn't get into PCing until I was in the military, and then it was like, oh, PC and straight into MMOs, and I really haven't looked back since then.
No, that's cool.
Me, Pong.
Pong is good, man. What about Qbert?
Oh, okay. So I have been a gamer since Pong. So most games that were mainstream and popular, I played. There are some I missed, but I played Qbert, Burger Time, played all those. Had an Atari and Intellivision 2. Played in my friend's
Nice.
Coleco. Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, I've Super Nintendo, Genesis. Yeah, I've been around too long.
Well, I had a Commodore. My mom had a Commodore 64 that she gave us. So we had like Oil Well and Dig Dug and
Oh, Dig
Mule.
Dug.
I love Mule. Hunchback, where it's like da 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 da, and like my friend got me a whole bunch of games because he has a Commodore 64 for my Mini, and I booted that Hunchback up the other day, and I'm like, how the hell did I play this as a kid? It is hard.
Yeah, those games don't age well. Did you play Zork?
And my brother, for Christmas, he wanted a Super Nintendo, and we're farmers, and we aren't rich farmers, so we can only get one really good present for Christmas. So I don't know, Josh must have been good or something, because we ordered from the Sears catalog, and we got it in, and he got his Super Nintendo, and I remember sneaking into his bedroom to play Mario World, where you get Yoshi and then watching him play, and then eventually we got like an old Nintendo from somebody, so we had to like Mario Brothers and stuff like that. But my first real console was the PS1 that I got from my uncle for $40 and some cow, like meat. We gave him meat and $40. So I
must have
borrowed
been some
my
good
uncle's,
meat.
Sorry.
Must have been some good meat.
It's farm meat. It definitely is good. So I borrowed my other uncle's Final Fantasy VII, but I just the materia system, I wasn't really getting. I wasn't really understanding how to use it, and couldn't really get into the cyberpunk version of that. Like, just it wasn't because we played Final Fantasy 1 back on the old Nintendo, so I knew what Final Fantasy was. My brother would leave the Nintendo on for days because he couldn't save it, so that he could get through Final Fantasy 1. So I'm like, I just wasn't playing 7 very well. My mom, it was before Christmas, and she's like, okay, you guys sit in the car. I'm going to go into Walmart. I'm going to get your guys' presents so that you don't know what we get. And at Christmas time, I opened it up, and she got me Final Fantasy 8. And she's like, it's the Final Fantasy you've been playing. And I'm like, no, this one's 8. I've been playing 7. I'm like, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll give it a try. I finished the first disc that night, and it's been my favorite Final Fantasy ever since. So
nice.
That's my story with 8. But that's I've been a hardcore gamer since then. I have a twin sister, and she used to just sit with me, and we lived on a farm, so we couldn't go anywhere. So I would game, and she'd sit with me, and we would game together. And I've been with PlayStation ever since. It's my go-to console, and yeah, Final Fantasy. And then when Kingdom Hearts got announced, I was like, Final Fantasy characters with Disney. I was more interested in the Final Fantasy characters than Disney. I like Disney, but more of like Final Fantasy characters. And then, yeah, since my PS2, I've been stuck with Kingdom Hearts hardcore. So
it's a good game.
Love it. The lore is something else, I tell ya. It took me. Oh my god, I didn't know what was going on. I even played all the games, and I still didn't know what was going on. So in like college, just after college, I'm like, that's it. I'm going to learn as much as I can about what the hell's going on. So after researching and playing Birth by Sleep and finding about Xehanort and finally getting Unchained Key, learning about Union Cross, the browser version versus the version we got here in North America that turned into Unchained Key turned into Union Cross, and then figuring out how that story then ties into 100 years later when Ven is in Birth by Sleep, but he's also in Union Cross, so we still have to learn the connection there, because Union Cross is still releasing storyline as we speak, but I kind of think I figured it out, because Nomura likes time travel, and the Datascape is playing a huge aspect in all this, so
interesting.
It'd be interesting to see where the storyline goes there, because the foretellers are back, and you better believe the next saga is going to heavily be based on Union Cross back history.
Wow, you definitely dove deeper to that than I ever did. I just like playing it, so yeah.
But I kind of wanted to know as much as I could before going into 3, because it was the end of the Xehanort saga, so I wanted to at least get the complete lore down in my head before we finish the saga out in that game. So
I was
haven't
really
touched 3 yet, so
Yeah, I was really expecting you to say you did all that research and you still don't know what's going on, because I haven't heard anybody that says they understand the Kingdom Hearts story.
no, I understand what's going on. That question, I can answer it. I'm like the lore expert of my group.
No, I think that's a good chance for you to come out with a video of your own about.
I do have 3 timeline
3?
videos that I've made on my channel. I just never went past Birth by Sleep because I play Kingdom Hearts 1 on my channel, so you could watch me play that for the story. Chain of Memories, I didn't really dive into, just because the video is available. Like anything that's really available on the releases past Birth by Sleep, I hadn't touched because I was just ready to get into Kingdom Hearts 3, and I really wasn't getting much views on those videos, and those videos took me like half a month to research, produce, make, and then render and put it to my channel. And like I got out the Union Cross story, I got out Birth by Sleep, and there was another one, can't remember. I swear I got out 3, at least those 2 for sure are out there. There's full lore backstories to those contents.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
You sound like me with WoW lore.
When you're passionate, man.
Well,
I'm now on a binge to platinum all the Kingdom Hearts games. I got 1 and 3 done. I'm working on 2 right now, and it's gonna kill me. 2's gonna kill me. God.
You can do it. Just one day at a time.
We have faith in you.
Thank you.
All right, so I have
a quick question.
Go ahead.
What game right now are you guys really obsessed about? Like right now, what's the obsession?
That we're currently playing? Yeah, I end up playing a lot of the Division 2, but I don't know if I'm quite obsessed with it. I don't know if I'm obsessing about anything right now. That'll probably be like when Cyberpunk comes out or something.
Well, that's cool. That's true.
And yeah, that'll be one that'll probably just suck me in until I'm done playing it. Right now, I think while I enjoy the Division, I enjoy the story and lack thereof story. It's just trying to get accomplishments done, trying to get stuff taken care of. But I think it's definitely Cyberpunk, which I am definitely gonna obsess over.
When's that one coming out again?
I should have looked that up.
October?
Yeah,
October?
I think it's October. Yeah,
I think it's October.
That's good. That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to say I was obsessing over any game, the one that I want to play the most right now is Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. I've got a 73 dancer that I'm trying to build up and get
Nice.
the end game. So
Yeah, my pal is my main, and she's at 76 right now. So I'm just working my way through the story. Just been doing that, grinding on the Kingdom Hearts games, so it's taken me away from 14. But I try to get on it every Monday just to give it some love because I am paying for it. So
yeah.
I might as well schedule some time for it.
Yes. And him and I are playing on it as well. So.
Oh yeah.
I'll
Have to get you guys up on PM to see what server you're on.
Balmung.
Yeah, it's a weird named one.
Okay.
Balmung. But I'm on Zalera for my dancer. But it doesn't matter, right? We could still friend up
as long
and.
as you're on the same data server as me. Like,
Oh, Crystal, I think.
I'm on Marlboro, which is
Marlboro.
on the Pulse. I can't remember which server it's on.
Here. Interesting.
Yeah, we're not really attached to our servers right now. So once
No.
once they do the whole crowded servers, move to new servers, we'll probably do that. So so I can get my dancer and then my character that I'm playing with him all in the same one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I can play the rich grandfather with my dancer and all the other characters.
Nice.
But
Here you guys go. Have some money.
here you go, youngins. Take $1.
Yeah, 'cause right now, I've got the archer that I play with him, and then I kind of did a short, like me creating a character and whatnot, and I think I did a lancer on that one.
Nice.
So, but
Yeah,
I think
sorry, keep going.
no, I was just saying I think I kind of like the archer right now, and going the bard route.
Yeah. Well, I main paladin and I secondary white mage. My sister mains bard, so if you ever need any bard help, she's an excellent bard. Like that's like her main job. And then after that, I mostly stick to most of the tank classes. If I have to do DPS, which I hate DPSing in general,
Wow,
it's just
really?
it's really not my thing. Yeah, I'd rather be either right in front of that boss's face and kicking his butt, or in the back keeping you alive and determining if you should live or not. I don't want to worry about the ads. I don't want to worry about like what's. I just want to be like the head of the party. Like just do it. I'm more of a tank kind of person.
Okay.
Yeah. But I do enjoy my rogue and my lancer as just playing in the world aspect with them. I'm really looking forward to bringing up my gunblade, but I'm got to get my main tank's got to be level 80 before I'll touch any other tank. Like my paladin's been my girl since I started in beta, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you play the ugly Final Fantasy 14? Because I did.
I did. PS3 version 1.0.
I was on the PC, but man, that was rough times.
That was raw.
That was rough times.
It definitely has grown up quite a bit since then.
So yeah, thank goodness they changed everything.
I never touched it. So
it's really in the past memory. I remember aspects of it, but I'm so used to the current gameplay that a lot of it's kind of just really foggy back memory now.
Let me just remind you that 40 people sitting on a hill waiting for one spawn, whoever hit it first got credit for it. There you go.
I know.
That's all you need to know about Final Fantasy 14 when it came out.
The wait times back in the day were,
and you couldn't progress the story without killing that thing that everybody was trying to kill. And but it was a nightmare. And then when one guy would leave and 5 would come, it was just horrible.
Yeah. They didn't really think that through at the beginning, but they worked out all the bugs through the years.
Yeah, they also were saying that I was reading an article that one of the plants, like in a planter they had as many polys as a character had. Oh
my.
So that was like when the new guy took over, that was like one of the first things he did was like, nope, lower poly that. Just because it was like just resource hog, but yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so here's a question, and Oz, you can answer it a little different, but no, I'll ask a question both you guys can probably answer. What video game series would you like to see brought back or rebooted?
Brought back or rebooted.
If you haven't, Fan has an answer, so go ahead. Give him time to think.
The Shadow Hearts series from the PS2. Shadow Hearts Convent, and Shadow Hearts from a Lost World.
I am not familiar with that. What is that one?
Hang on.
She's going to get it. She's going to school us. Like she has been all Roundtable.
I gotta put my headset down.
Oh, she's got it.
Oh, she's got them all right next to each other, too. She's organized. More so than I am.
So these are mature games. Well, the first one's very mature, and the last for teens, so they definitely delved it.
Are we talking...
the middle one's for teen, too, but the first one's mature, and it's Shadow Hearts.
M rating, okay.
Yeah, okay. You definitely get some nice panty shots from this chick right here.
Okay.
Very demonic. There's very demonic gameplay, blood, gore, but what's really neat is the battle system is a ring that you have to hit the colors, and there's a certain part of the color where if you hit it, you get an excellent, or you get good, or you miss your attack. So he has 3 attacks, and the gauge gets bigger with a 4th attack as you age. He also turns into a demon. So you get these seeds, and you can turn into several different demons, and they all have different elemental classes depending on what you're fighting. And there's an evil entity kind of taking over the world. It's kind of got like a Parasite Eve / Resident Evil kind of feel to the monsters.
Nice.
So this game's basically following Yuri around and his story, and you've got like your typical job classes. He's kind of tanky. She's your healer. You've got a old guy who's kind of the mage of the party, who's got all the black magic and stuff like that.
So is it an action or turn-based? What is it?
It's turn-based RPG, but it's kind of linear. But I believe is he Jack the Ripper? No, there's a lot of lore, like English lore that they play with in here, and you actually, there's some parts in here you do go to like Britain and Japan. Like there's Japan parts, there's London, so it plays in our world, but it's almost like a different dimension or a different parallel version of our world, where there's demons, there's entities, there's spirits. And this one is a direct sequel of this one, which actually ends up being a prequel in the end, which I won't spoil the ending, but it makes sense to those who played it. You kind of play as her. She's your kind of your main protagonist, but Yuri's back, but he's got amnesia. So yay, amnesia timeline. So you kind of meet him and you befriend him. And you go to Russia in this one. There's a girl from Russia. She's got a pet dog. What else? There's a guy from Japan. So again, they bring back the you could see the turn-based fight grid there, where it's the a little bit better.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so it's a really cool, different battle system than most games use. So it's quite unique. This one takes place in North America, and you're him. He's got similar powers to this guy, but they're not related. You're kind of like a child detective. She lives with the Native Americans, and she's trying to save their way of life. And you befriend her, and you just got this weird crew. It's a little bit more childish, like more of a teen feel, bringing in like a younger audience. To the gameplay. Still a little bit mature, like there's still skulls and blood, but not as much, not as gory and demonically dark as this one, for the rating. But there's a cat you get to play as, like literally he's a party member. But the battle system stays. So the round base hit system.
And it's an X-Seed games. Those are usually pretty good.
Everybody has their own hits. Like Yuri would have 3, where your healer has 2, and if you're trying to cast a spell, the spell has a different hit area. So you got to learn where each hit area is, because it's not the same for each spell. So you're not going to keep hitting the same hit area. It is for the attack, but if you cast a spell, that one's going to have a different hit area than your attack does.
Interesting.
So this is kind of a series that I would like to see a remaster of, like a complete edition remaster of these. And no demoting down the first one. Keep that one as M as.
She likes the M rating.
Yeah. You have to, because there's like literally this girl's got some pink panties that you get to see in a certain healing move that she likes to do. At least I think in Japan she has no panties.
Oh.
Ooh.
I think in this version they have
Censored
to put panties
for
on her
NA,
because it was coming to North America.
Interesting, because I thought Japan was more strict than we were.
Oh no, we get a lot of things censored over here that they show
we
over there.
We censor a lot. Have you seen anime? Have you seen Sailor Moon North America versus Sailor Moon Japan?
I've seen North America, but I've not seen their version. No.
Let's just say when they change, they're not blocked out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Definitely missing out then.
There's been a lot of pushback lately on the stuff that's been censored over here that's not over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, especially on the PlayStation, there's been a lot of people complaining about that.
That's up to the
developer or publisher, something like that.
Yeah.
All right, Oz, you get to follow that.
Okay, so I would have to go with like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I would like to see both of those redone, or maybe and continued on. Or like Star Wars, the Troopers one, where you play as Delta Squad, because there was supposed to be one where they were after the Empire took over. It was supposed to be follow it on, but they had to drop it to do some other project. So I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I those like the Knights of the Old Republic was great. I loved that storyline, and especially when it was like with dealing with like Revan and Darth Malak, or Revan, yeah. Malak was in the Old Republic, but yeah, I'd like to see that redone in better graphics and had the gameplay hopefully be a little more modernized, because they got kind of derpy during some of the gameplay. If they're kind of around a corner and you clicked, you know, your Wookiee's going trucking down the hallway, and you're like, but I need you over here. Don't go running.
Kind of make the AR a little sharper.
Yeah, a little bit sharper. I think it would also get better with just cleaned up graphics. You know, that would definitely make it a lot better as well. But yeah, it would definitely be those I'd like to see redone, just because it's been kind of dry.
So you're talking like a whole new engine type of deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, there have been people out there that have been trying to do it, but they don't have the permissions or the rights to do so. Well, you can mod it, but it doesn't fix the gameplay, or it doesn't fix the story.
So you're saying there's like people who rebuilt it on Unreal Engine or something?
I mean, there have been people that have rebuilt, you know, the first Knights of the Old Republic, but they can't do anything with it because they're going to get sued because they don't own it. So, the rumor has it they've been talking about it, but I just don't know how real that is. So, yeah, so that would be one series I'd like to see redone, like a complete overhaul. Would be both KOTORs.
Well, that would have to be Disney saying we want to remake it. And
trust me, and you know, Disney might. I mean, it is a cash cow, so you know.
Yeah.
They milk the hell out of Disney.
Mickey needs his moolah.
Yep. Mickey needs it all.
So the game series I would like to see remade is Legacy of Kain, and I'm talking going back to the first one. And it doesn't have to be like the RPG, the overhead RPG like they had in the first one. But the story that they started with that one, I'd like to see them continue on. And if you guys never played the RPG, it was like the first RPG that I played where you played one character and it was overhead and, you know, had like the 16-bit graphics or whatever, but you could transform into like a bat and you could fly over stuff and then transform back. It was the first one that had those kind of mechanics where you would do something and it would... So you'd gain an ability that lets you traverse something you couldn't traverse before. Mm-hmm. So it was like kind of the first game that I ran across that was like that. And the later ones, when they became more 3D, they had the two world type of thing, the dark world and the light world, or whatever they called them. Mm-hmm. So that was a cool mechanic where you had to do puzzle solving by switching the different worlds and doing something in the other world and then coming back to the light world. And so... yeah, if you're not familiar with Legacy of Kain, you're basically a vampire.
Yeah, I remember that one. I remember Legacy of Kain. It was a good one. Now, I didn't play it early on. I actually came into it later on in the series. So after both worlds had been brought in. But yeah, that would be a good one. I never really thought about that one as one being redone. But I think that would be... definitely a cash cow if they did redo it.
I think so. The first one was interesting because you actually had to decide if you wanted to drink people's blood or not, because you would basically drain them, right? And now they're gone and they're not in the world anymore. So you had to decide if you wanted to do that, and if you got caught doing that, there was consequences and stuff. So I don't know. I just really liked that world and that lore, especially when he started fighting other vampires and stuff. And it was pretty cool.
Didn't he later on have jaw or something in that one? Didn't something happen to him?
Yeah, there was like the third or fourth one, he wore the bandana looking thing because he didn't have a jaw.
Yeah, his lower jaw got removed. Yeah.
It was pretty gnarly, but
that sounds lovely.
Hey, you want this mature stuff, so there you go. No lower jaw.
So
kind of like Blade Trinity.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they probably drew a little inspiration from Kain.
Yeah.
So, was there any other questions, or were we've been going at this for quite a bit. Almost an hour and a half, so...
Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point. I would like to do this again.
No, this was fun. I really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, I'd like to do it maybe I don't know what's static, and I'll have to figure it out once a month, once a quarter, something like that, and just come back and do it again. So.
Yeah, definitely want to do it. Maybe bring Fan back with somebody else. Have like 4 people, 5 people. The more people, the merrier.
And I know a couple of my group people that would do great in these type of podcast type things, because while Mike does a couple, and then Velcos is really good at talking about games, and then there's my friend DJ. She's always looking for collabs to do. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll. When we figure out what we're doing, we'll come back to you and see if any of them... I don't know, are they in your Discord channel? Or?
Yes, they are. Yeah, they're part of my Discord.
So maybe we'll just reach out there and see when we're ready.
You can always do a shout-out saying, hey, if anybody's interested, we're doing this. We're looking for anybody who wants to come talk about video games, and they'll answer you back.
Okay.
They'll tell us, heck no, you guys are scrubs.
I don't want to hang out with you fools. No.
Good. Yeah, that's definitely something we'll do, because I'd like to keep this going.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I appreciate you taking time out to do this with us.
Of course. So thank you again. I feel honored to be asked.
Well,
really.
you've been more than great with your knowledge of everything.
Yes.
I knew you were into it. I didn't know you were that into it.
I'm a bit hardcore. Like I said, a little bit of a geek when it comes to these games. I like books, but games are like better than books to me. They're so immersive for me, and they've been they're my thing.
Yeah.
We're right there with you. That's it's what I use for my entertainment. I do watch movies and stuff and everything, but majority of my entertainment is games, and I think Oz would probably say the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I game more in a week than I watch TV, by like 10 times.
Wow. Yeah. I still watch more. I think I have more TV than I do, but I think if I weren't married, it would be vastly different.
Well, see, like when I was with my other boyfriends, it was more TV than games, because they just didn't get it. They weren't gamers. I would be like, "Can I go play a game?" And then I get the look like, "I guess," but it's like they don't understand. But my current boyfriend, he's a gamer, so it's like, "Oh no, go play your game. If you want to go play, go."
Wow, that sounds like you're in a situation most guy gamers are in with their spouses or significant others.
We go through it too as girl gamers. You get into those relationships, and it's like if they don't get it, and even my mom doesn't get it, my dad doesn't get it. Like at least my sister and my brother do, because they played games, but like even when I was with my daughter's dad, and he's my age, he wasn't a gamer at all. Like he just didn't get it. I wouldn't play games when he was home. I'd play games when he wasn't home, because it just made me feel bad that I was gaming when he was home. So
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that a lot. Because it's like 6 hours later, and it's like, oh man, I didn't mean to spend that much time doing it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like 6 hours later. Yeah, I meant to spend that much time doing it.
Yeah.
You and I did that one day. It was like 3 hours in Final Fantasy, and then another 3 hours in the Division.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was 6 hours, man.
Yeah, I can only do that if my daughter's at daycare and I got the day off. Otherwise, like I am a parent, so I do have to. But she's old enough now where I'm like, I'm going to my office. Come get me if you need me. And then she's like, can I watch this or can I game too? And I'm like, did you do what you needed to do first? And then she's regulated though. She only gets 2 hours a day if she earns it. So
That's good.
Where it's me, she's like, well, what do you get to game more? I'm like, because I'm an adult and I earned it.
I said
plus,
so.
I'm like, but plus who owns all this stuff? Whose stuff is this? It's mommy's, that's right. Mommy worked for this stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else, Static?
I'm good. Everybody else
Jen,
good?
you're good?
I'm good.
All
Thank you so
right,
much, guys.
No problem.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate everyone tuning in, and leave us a comment what you guys think about it or ideas for next time around. So until then, thanks for watching.
Take care,
This is
everybody.
Oz.
Happy gaming, everybody.
Happy gaming.